like I said, I think you have to be able to run the football. I think you have to be able to keep the guys on the field for a little bit so you can, try to do your best to keep them on the field as long as possible and maybe wear them out a little bit so they don't have as much energy rushing off the field. But, those guys are going to do a good job, and that's what they like to do. So you just got to be on top of your game, and you can do certain things in protection to help yourself out and all those typical things that you would do. But I definitely think it comes down to running the football and, we're winning as quickly as we can, everywhere else.
Joe, do you think you guys found something last time you played, or was it just having the three receivers that we've been talking about for so long?
Well, yeah, I think that's whenever you play somewhat well on either side of the ball, you hope that you can carry it into the next week and build off of that and create some momentum, create some confidence. I think that's the biggest thing. We've definitely struggled to get the ball in the end zone for a lot of the year. So to be able to put the ball in the end zone like we did last week, I think it got guys' confidence going again. It got guys believing that we could do it. So hopefully we can build off of that for sure.
Joe, go ahead, Wizard.
I'm just going to ask Joe, with the way you performed, in that game on Monday night, was there, from a personal standpoint, was there some validation for you that you were looking for personally that, hey, I'm comfortable now, I can do this, I can get this job done?
Well, listen, I think definitely the first 2 weeks getting in there and, that I played against Arizona, Miami, definitely were a mental hurdle, and, it was nice to get back out there and I feel confident. I played this game for a long time, and at a certain point you get right back in the groove, and you're playing a football game and you're trying to win, and really that's all that's on your mind.
Joe, you guys are obviously playing a lot of young guys now on both sides of the ball. On offense, you have LaMichael and Mackay and Denzel. What kind of challenges does that present in terms of, they're young, they're going to make mistakes, and kind of how do you work through that as one of the older guys on the team?
Well, we've all been there before. We've all been young guys, so you have to push them hard and make sure they're doing all the right things. And at the same time, you can't get frustrated when certain things maybe don't go the right way because we haven't, they just haven't been through it. But it doesn't take away from the fact that you still have to push them hard and have high expectations for those guys.
You had that experience in Baltimore where they played you right away. How challenging do you remember that being as a rookie, just kind of getting thrown into the fire?
Hey, well, this is the best league in the world, in terms of playing football. So I think as a player, you always want to prove your worth. You always want to prove to the guys around you, the guys that you're playing with, that you can play in this league, that you can play for the team that you're on, and that guys can trust you. And I think that's the biggest thing as a young guy is just going out there and making enough plays and doing the right things consistently so that guys can look at you and have trust and faith that you're going to get the job done when you're called. So.
Joe, wondering if as a quarterback you keep an eye or watch with any interest some of these young, kids coming in the league like Justin Herbert you're going to see this week. I wonder if you've had a chance to see any of his highlights and what your thoughts on him.
I think you always pay attention just to the league in general from afar. I honestly, as a quarterback and being tied up with what we're doing, I probably don't get a chance to look at everybody and have quite the same view on guys as fans do and everybody else kind of does. We're so locked into our little bubble here trying to prepare for the next week that you don't really get the chance to study these guys and see how they're doing. I do know that he's been playing well. He's been throwing the ball around the yard a little bit, having some fun. It obviously isn't something that's been too big for him. He stepped in right away and was able to show right away that he belongs and he can make it in this league.
I just had one question about your working relationship with Sam. Obviously, COVID has become a major obstacle. Have you guys been able to just get out of the facility at all, or together, or go for, I don't know, a socially distanced, cup of coffee or anything socially outside the building?
Yeah, we break the rules about 10 times a week, and we're hanging out with each other, going out to restaurants every night, doing all those kind of things. Hey, honestly, obviously, it is a shame that we haven't been able to do those kind of things because that is one of the cool things about being on a football team and just being with a bunch of guys. You get to create a bond, during the times, obviously when you're in the building, but those times outside of the building are sometimes, just as important. So it's definitely been tough to not be able to do that. But there have been times where we've, snuck out just, and sat down and been able to talk, in some capacity, which has been really good. I mean, like I think I said it before. I mean, Sam's unbelievable. He's got a great head on his shoulders, and he's going to do a lot of great things in this league. You know, that comes from not only seeing him in the building, but being able to spend, at least a little bit of time with him outside of here.
Joe,
Any more for Joe?
with this being your fourth start, when you look back at, the rehab and going through the summer trying to get better, was that something you could have anticipated that you would be playing this much at this point? And what was like your thoughts on how much you might get to play this year coming back from the injury?
Yeah, well, it's tough to think back and know exactly what was going through my head. Obviously, you want a chance. You hope in some way, that you get a chance to prove that you can still do it. Not only performance-wise, but health-wise. You want that chance. I don't really think I thought about how it would happen or why or when or how much. I've seen it happen, a bunch of times, and I really just kind of took it as just be ready, be mentally ready, most importantly, because you never know what's going to happen, and it's a long season. It's a different season, just with all the, obviously with COVID and things like that, and all that can happen with that. So I really didn't anticipate anything. Definitely grateful for the chance to have played a little bit. Obviously, you never want to see your teammates go down, so that part of it's, not the best. But, I've never been in this position coming into the league. I mean, coming into the season, knowing that I wasn't going to be the starter. So I really just tried to approach it with an open mind, help the quarterback out, help Sam out as much as I can, and at the same time continue to work hard and stay on top of things.